And with the flick of an ordinary light switch, my whole world changed. Our 18-month-old daughter, Rachel, had just finished her nap on a rainy afternoon in Indiana. I could hear her fussing to be picked up from her crib. When I opened her door, she was looking out the window at the rain, her back turned toward me. So I called her name, but the fussing continued. I called louder, still no response. And then I snapped on the light, and instantly she wheeled around and saw me and smiled a big smile. And that's the moment that I knew. Our daughter, Rachel, was deaf. I won't deny that that was a painful time for us. I was a singer and a songwriter and a worship leader and a radio broadcaster. Sound and music were my profession. And now I realize that my little girl would never experience those things the way I had experienced them. It was a pretty sad time for us. But we never asked God why. We only asked what now. And God began to take us on a journey to a world we didn't even know existed. As we met deaf families, we found things that we never would have expected. We met a deaf girl who was 6 years old, and she thought that if she couldn't talk to Jesus, he wouldn't be able to understand her. She didn't know that he would understand sign language. We met a deaf boy who didn't want to go home for Christmas vacation. He would rather stay at the deaf school and stay in the dorms than to go home because no one in his family could sign. We met deaf teenagers who were so frustrated at home. They said, "My parents could learn to sign, but they don't. I must just not be important enough." All of this led us to realize that deaf children are among the most spiritually isolated people on earth. 80% of deaf kids have hearing parents who don't learn how to sign. 80%. Who will tell these kids about Jesus? Fewer than 5% of churches in the United States have any outreach to deaf people. And those that do almost never have anything specifically designed to minister to deaf children. So, once again, who will tell them about Jesus? No wonder out of the over 6 million deaf people in America, only 2% have accepted Christ as Lord. These kinds of situations are the norm, not the exception in the deaf world. These are the kinds of shared experiences that help define a rich deaf culture. And at the core of that culture is their language, American Sign Language. They have their own literature, not only in ASL, but also in English. They have their own myths and legends, cherished institutions, social order, and their own customs. Because they are recognized as a culture, the deaf are the largest unreached people group in North America. But we can't fulfill the Great Commission if we forget about the deaf. So over time, God led us to become cross-cultural missionaries to the deaf in North America. And we formed an organization called Silent Blessings Deaf Ministries. The goal of Silent Blessings is to help bring spiritual healing to deaf people and their families. We educate through workshops and seminars, online materials and other resources. We advocate for deaf ministry on a national level as well. And we work with other organizations to create new resources to minister to deaf people and their families, especially to deaf children. The biggest project we're involved in right now is called Dr. Wonder's Workshop. It's a Christian lifestyle curriculum in a weekly 30-minute television series. Each episode includes a main story segment that teaches kids how to live Christianly. A Bible story that lays the foundation from the Bible for the theme for that program. We also have an object lesson. In this one, we teach how the Bible is like an owner's manual for people. And original songs. This one talks about greed. And each one also includes an explanation of the plan of salvation in simple terms that children can understand. This is Dr. Wonder's Workshop. It's currently broadcast on most of the major Christian television networks, including Daystar and TBN. In fact, it reaches 95% of all the homes in America and 300 million homes worldwide. But what's really important is not how far it goes, but what it does when it gets there. We get emails and letters every day from kids like this.
The show really inspires me. Before the television show, I never thought there could be anything cool in the deaf culture. Thank you for showing me I was wrong. I was really giving up hope because I am the only deaf girl in my area. I wondered for a little while if God really loves me. If He does, why am I deaf and no one else here is like me? But you guys really helped me out a lot. Thank you. Now I am living a happy life and studying the Bible again.
This has been an amazing journey for us. And it all started with the flick of a light switch and our willingness to say yes. Yes, wherever you want us to go, we'll go. Yes, whatever you want us to do, we'll do. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we know if you call us, you'll supply the means, you'll supply the power, you'll supply the leadership. We just have to say yes. God took what looked like a tragedy in our lives, our daughter's deafness, and transformed it into perhaps the greatest blessing of our lives. And He's eager to do the same thing in your life. He knows what He's doing. Just say yes. Don't copy the behavior and the customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you'll learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. God bless you.